Hello and welcome back to Crime Clips YouTube channel. Today we're going to look at some of the United Kingdom's unsolved disappearances and murders that have baffled law enforcement since the start of the millennium. Whether it's murders related to gangs and drugs or children simply vanishing, there are plenty of unsolved mysteries to look back at. So let's get straight into it. The year 2000, January. Lola Shenkoya and Elizabeth Chow. Lola Shenkoya was a 27-year-old woman who vanished from Ealing Broadway on the 3rd of January 2000. Police believe her to have been killed by serial offender and suspected serial killer Andrzej Kunowski, who had took the life of a 12-year-old girl nearby in 1997. He was also the prime suspect in the murder of Elizabeth Chow, who disappeared from almost the exact same location as Shenkoya some months earlier. Kunowski was known to have been working in a dry cleaning shop on Uxbridge Road on the day Chow was last seen walking past Ealing Police Station. Although he was questioned for their murders, no concrete evidence was found to link him before he died in prison in 2009. Roger Ormsby, Manchester. Roger Ormsby's body was in the driver's seat of his red BMW when it was discovered burning in an alley on Whaley Range on the 5th of January 2000. The 35-year-old businessman was shot in the back of his head. 2 local gang leaders were suspected to be involved, but as of 2024, no one has been convicted of the crime. Gabriel Igorevba, Manchester. 17-year-old Igorevba was shot when he and a friend was being chased by 2 men on motorcycles whilst riding their bicycles through Longsight on the 12th of January 2000. Detectives thought it was mistaken identity, and no one has ever been convicted of the crime. March 2000. Craig Mearfield, Leeds. Craig Mearfield, a 34-year-old car dealer, was shot in his car in Gipton on 15th of March while trying to drive away from the gunman. A man was prosecuted for Mearfield's murders, yet his trial ended early due to reservations about the reliability of the 2 main witnesses. No one else has ever been arrested for the murder. April 2000. Sarah Benford, Northampton. 14-year-old Benford vanished in April 2000, and although her body has never been found, her disappearance is being treated as a murder. Benford was described by police as a troubled teenager. She was in care and ran away from Welford House Children's Home in Welford Road, Northampton on the 4th of April. She visited her mother in Kettering on the 6th of April, and there were other sightings of her in Kettering that day. During 2003, a number of people were arrested and properties were searched, but then an investigation stalled. In 2016, police searched woods near Warkton in Northamptonshire, an area known to be used by acquaintances of Benford for storing stolen goods and other items. As of 2023, police admitted there is no more lines of enquiry and the case is officially cold. May 2000. Frank McPhee, Glasgow. Mr. McPhee, a 51-year-old gangster who was twice acquitted of murder, was shot by a sniper in a block of flats opposite his own as he returned home on the 10th of May 2000. A major crime family was suspected to be involved, and the only evidence left at the scene was the gun. Cheryl Grover, Berkshire. Cheryl Grover, 21, was last seen alive by a visitor to her home on Audley Close, Newbury, at 10:30 p.m. on Friday the 12th of May 2000. She spoke to a friend on the telephone at 2:35 a.m. on Saturday the 13th of May, but efforts made by her estranged husband to contact her later that same day came to nothing. Concerned for Grover's welfare, he and his mother visited Grover's home at 3:30 p.m. and he climbed the drainpipe to reach the first-floor bedroom window. Inside, Grover was found dead in her bedroom, having been strangled with a dressing gown cord. Police suspected that she had been selling drugs from her home, and an appeal led to a number of people coming forward. A 32-year-old man was arrested but released without charge. Although Grover's death was investigated as a murder, the inquest returned an open verdict. In May 2006, Thames Valley Police announced that her death was being reviewed by a cold case team. As of 2022, the case is still open. Clifton Bryan and Dennis Wilson, Manchester. The remains of Bryan, 29, and Wilson, 32, were found in a car in Leeds on the 15th of May 2000. Bryan was a notorious gangster from Leeds and Wilson was a founding member of the Doddington Gang from Manchester. Scientific evidence revealed that they had been shot dead in a house in Manchester before being taken out of the city. In 2001, a man was cleared of the killings, which were thought to have been gang-related and linked to numerous other killings in the area around the same time. Their murders remain unsolved. June. Jaap Bornkamp, New Cross, London. Mr. Bornkamp, a 52-year-old Dutchman who lived in the Norbury area of South London and worked as a florist, was stabbed in an attack that was believed to have been homophobic while walking along New Cross Road with a male companion in the early hours of the 4th of June 2000. Kelly Pratt, unknown. Pratt, 28, became a sex worker to help pay for a drug habit after moving to Great Yarmouth from her home city of Newcastle in 1998. She was last seen on the phone standing outside a pub in the red light district of Norwich on the 11th of June 2000, and soon afterwards she told an associate who had phoned her that she was with a client whose identity has not been established. Pratt's disappearance has led to a police murder investigation despite the fact that her body has not been discovered. A link has been suggested to East Anglia serial prostitute killer Steve Wright but never proven. Manelik Robinson. Clapton, London. I stumbled across this case while researching for a future video about Hackney's notorious murder mile. Mr. Robinson was driving along Upper Clapton Road on the 25th of June 2000 when two motorcycles forced him to stop. A passenger then dismounted and shot the 20-year-old several times. No one has ever been brought to justice. July. Mark Corley, County Durham. Grantham man Corley was fatally shot in the head, probably within days of leaving his hometown on the 7th of July 2000. His skeletal remains were discovered in a rural area of County Durham in December 2000. 5 men were due to go on trial in early 2002 over the 23-year-old's murder, but a judge called off the trial after finding that the police had unlawfully bugged conversations between those men and their solicitors. Now I'd like to take a minute to thank you for watching and ask, could you please like the video and subscribe? It would be a massive help getting the channel up and running. So let's get back to it. Iwona Kaminska. Hammersmith, London. 20-year-old Polish woman Kaminska disappeared after leaving her workplace in Hammersmith, London, on the 13th of July 2000. Her case is being treated as a possible murder. Over the previous year, 2 other young women had disappeared from the street in Ealing 4 miles away, and the prime suspect in those cases was Polish serial sex offender and suspected serial killer Andrzej Kunowski, who died in 2009. Kunowski has also been linked to Kaminska's disappearance and in 1997 had murdered a girl near where Kaminska vanished in Hammersmith. The next 2 cases occurred on the same day at the same event but are not thought to be linked. August. Greg Watson and Abdul Bhatti. Notting Hill Carnival, London. 21-year-old Watson died in hospital after a nighttime attack on Kensal Road on the 28th of August, when he was stabbed whilst intervening in an attempt to stop a group of youths trying to accost his female cousin. The Notting Hill Carnival was on in the area at the time. CrimeWatch later showed footage of the incident, which CCTV had recorded in low quality. A 20-year-old man later walked free from court after a judge ruled there was not enough evidence to take it to trial. Abdul Bhatti. 28-year-old Bhatti was punched and kicked at the Notting Hill Carnival at around 7:30 p.m. on the 28th of August 2000 after intervening when a friend was being assaulted by gang members, and died in hospital on the evening of the 29th of August. 9 men were jailed for taking part in the violence that culminated in the fatal attack, but no one has been convicted of his murder. Ronald Fuller. Essex. 30-year-old Fuller was shot twice in the head and twice in the chest outside his bungalow on the 29th of August 2000 by a man who left the scene on a motor scooter. During Operation Tiberius, an investigation into police corruption, it was revealed that Scotland Yard had intelligence that Mr. Fuller was killed by Christopher Pearman after it was suspected that Fuller had killed Pearman's son Darren in a club brawl. Christopher Pearman was never arrested. September. Susan Kelly, Liverpool. Susan Kelly, 38, was a sex worker in Liverpool when she was murdered on the night of the 3rd to the 4th of September 2000. Her body was found in an alley off Blessington Road, Anfield, and she had suffered a number of violent injuries. A man was cleared of Kelly's murder in 2003 and others have since been arrested and released. Clifford Clark, Uppingham, Rutland. The body of former plumber and hospital porter, Clark was discovered in his flat by his brother on the 10th of September 2000. He had been stabbed in the chest and neck, and it was noted at the inquest that his death could have occurred between 2 and 4 days prior to his body being found. 15 years after the 56-year-old's murder, 2 men were arrested in connection with it, but to date no one has been charged with the crime. Thomas Ramsey, Manchester. 16-year-old Ramsey's body was found with 2 gunshot wounds, one to the head, the other to the neck, in a park in Levenshulme on the 19th of September 2000. The boss of a local gang Ramsey was alleged to have worked for was acquitted of his murder but convicted of the murder of a man from another gang. Ramsey had been acquitted himself of the October 1999 murder of Judah Dewar, a murder linked to Ramsey due to the discovery of one of his fingerprints on the victim's car. Both Mr. Ramsey and Mr. Dewar's murders remain unsolved. Vicky Glass, Danby, North Yorkshire. 21-year-old Glass went missing from Middlesbrough Town Centre on the 24th of September 2000. Her body was found 20 miles away in a stream in Danby on the North York Moors approximately 6 weeks later. Glass was a sex worker at the time of her death. In 2018, a specialist police team was set up to revisit the murders of Glass, Donna Keogh and Rachel Wilson. A Home Office review of all 3 cases said, "It is generally accepted that initial inquiries and investigations were inadequate." Cleveland police believe there could be a link to serial prostitute killer Steve Wright, whose known victims were all found in streams or near water. In September 2021, police announced a re-investigation by a historical crimes unit into Glass's murder, only 2 months after Wright had been arrested for another historical murder, that of Victoria Hall in 1999. October. Alan DeCabrel, Kent. 40-year-old DeCabrel was shot dead on the 5th of October as he sat in the passenger seat of a car in a busy car park. It happened 6 months after he gave evidence that helped convict notorious criminal Kenneth Noyer of a fatal road rage attack, and the idea that the gunman was acting on Noyer's orders was considered. However, it has also been noted by detectives investigating the case that the shooting could have been carried out because of a disagreement with an associate in the criminal underworld. Raymond Isaacs, Hounslow, London. Isaacs, 21, was set upon by about 10 people after leaving a cafe on the 16th of October 2000. He was punched, kicked, stabbed in the leg, and fatally stabbed in the heart. Some of those people were found guilty of offenses relating to the incident, but nobody has been found guilty of Isaacs's killing. Clay Benjamin, Liverpool. The 24-year-old was stabbed in the heart while at a blues party in Toxteth on the 21st of October 2000. A man in his 30s was cleared of his murder. November. Vincent Clay, Manchester. 2 men shot 27-year-old Clay while he was talking to his girlfriend in Amersham Street, Salford. Police charged a man over his death, but the trial was terminated when the court was informed that the prosecution would not be offering any more evidence. December. Zoe Parker, Chelsea Harbour, London. Parker was 24 and last seen with 2 men in Hounslow, West London, on the 6th of December 2000. She had learning difficulties and no fixed address, staying with friends and at hostels in various places such as London, Colchester and Bournemouth. Parker was also known to engage in sex work. Shortly before her death, she changed her name to Kathy Dennis. The upper part of Parker's body was discovered in the River Thames on the 17th of December. Her body had been sawn in half before being dumped in the river, and it is not known what happened to the lower half. Police suspect she could have been a victim of Anthony Hardy, the Camden Ripper, who dismembered his known victims after killing them in a nearby area between January 2002 and December 2002. Anthony Rose Wyndon, Clapton, London. 25-year-old Rose Wyndon was shot after leaving a nightclub on Lower Clapton Road, Clapton, on the 16th of December 2000, and died after crawling to neighboring Kenninghall Road. The case remains unsolved. And with that, we've come to the end of Britain's unsolved cases from the year 2000. If you're still watching at this point, I'd like to thank you and ask, could you please like, share and subscribe? It'll help a lot. Until next time, stay safe.